So I have been thinking for a while about either going to a sports psychologist or a regular psychologist to help get me through the hump of the mental side of my back injury. I would have to say with certainty that the mental part of overcoming my back injury has been the hardest thing that I've had to overcome, and the thing that I feel like I'm the most ill-equipped to deal with. And I just knew it was time to get some sort of outside help. And that being said, I just wanted to say something quick about something that kind of came to me in one of our sessions. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to speak to the camera, make it kind of like a personal vlog. I don't anticipate a lot of people to see this anyways, so it helps me to just talk about this stuff and get it out and putting it on video, and just having it available for the public to see is somewhat therapeutic, as long as I'm not putting it out for the intent of I want everybody to see this. No, I think just the act of making it public and exposing yourself is kind of therapeutic. And with the average view of like 5 on my YouTube channel, I'm not too worried about uh, getting lots of views. This was okay in March. One of my good friends, Aaron, asked me, why don't you have the mohawk anymore? Why don't you wear your nose ring anymore? And I told her that I'm not the person I used to be back when I was strong. And although it seems silly, the mohawk, the nose ring, that was it was my armor. It was something that gave me confidence. It was something that flipped this switch inside of me to where when I got to the gym, you put on your armor and it's time to go. That was for me, that was my Stallone flipping my hat back. That was my switch. It was my armor. And where I'm at currently, where I was when she asked me, and now even now currently, I don't feel my level of strength and my capabilities right now necessitates that. And she kind of heard it as I'm holding it back, like I'm punishing myself. I'm not strong enough yet, so I don't deserve to wear that armor. And I had to specify that I'm not actively like holding myself back. I'm not thinking, man, I really want to wear, my nose ring. I want to go back to the mohawk. I'm not like suppressing that for any reason. I don't deem it necessary. You know what I mean? I don't deem it necessary to get full armored up to squat 135. I don't deem it necessary to get fully armored, to deadlift 185. In my mind, to me, it's like using a bazooka to kill an ant. It's overkill. It's almost ridiculous and comical. Overkill. And in my recent session, by the way, I decided to go to just a normal therapist because we did not have any sports psychologists in the area. That I would have needed to go remotely, and I'm not a fan of remote stuff. And the reason why I was also thinking like a regular therapist, because I found this book called Trauma and Its Effects on the Body, and I was reading about how trauma affects the victims of it, not only mentally but physically. The reactions, the PTSD reactions, the fight or flight, the panic attacks, just the negative physical things that happen in regards to panic or panic attack or reliving a traumatic experience. And so much of what the stuff I was reading pertained to me specifically. The panic attacks, the living in fear, anytime, you'd feel a sensation, or anytime I'd feel a sensation in my lower back, I would immediately revert back to when I initially hurt myself, and my body would just take off in this fight or flight panic attack mode, and I could not stop it. And I'm still dealing with that. There's still times to where I'll get a sensation in my back and I'll immediately be paralyzed physically, mentally, emotionally, putting myself back to where I was when I heard it. And I read this book and I was like, this is me. I don't like throwing around the word trauma. I think people throw it around way too much right now. And it's just overused, it's overkill. It's almost like it has no meaning anymore. People just throw it around willy-nilly. And I didn't want to associate what I went through with trauma. But going by the definitions in the book, talking to my friend Aaron, and then also talking to, the now therapist that I'm seeing, trauma's trauma. It affects people how it affects people. Individual experiences are not, it's not necessarily like you have to go to war to experience trauma. You don't have to, get raped or be in an abusive relationship for trauma. It's just, trauma is something that happens to you that affects you to the point where you can't get past it. You can't get by it. It affects your daily life in a negative way. And that was the main reason why I decided to go to like an actual therapist instead. But regardless of that spiel, the topic of my armor came up in a session, and I was talking to the therapist, and she was asking. She too got the feeling that I was like suppressing myself, like holding it back, like punishing myself. And I said, no, like I'm not like actively holding it back. I'm not wanting to, wear my nose ring. I'm not wanting to have a mohawk, and I'm just punishing myself. Like, you're not what you used to be. You can't pull that out. You can't John Wick, like excavate, your old arsenal from underneath the concrete slab when it's time to go to work again. It's not that. To me, it's overkill. I don't see the necessity of conjuring up this altered personality that I had developed to squat 1,100 pounds, to deadlift 850 pounds. I did not see the necessity to call upon that demon just to squat, 200 pounds. And through talking with her, wheels started turning, and I came to the conclusion the physical weight is not my struggle right now. The mental side is my struggle, and I need all of the help, the courage, the confidence. I need all the help I can get in that part of it. And it didn't really occur to me that bringing out my armor is a source of confidence for me. And why would I deprive myself of such a useful tool? Because in my mind, I'm like thinking physical. Like, I don't need help like that to, squat 200 pounds. It's ridiculous. It's overkill. It's pointless. But she kind of helped me realize that my struggle is not with the physical part. My struggle is with the mental part. And I need help with my confidence. We spent time trying to figure out what it is that I'm actually afraid of. And that's something that is going to help you if you're struggling. You need to figure out what it is you're afraid of and what's holding you back. And B, you need to figure out what are the things that help you overcome or beat that fear, whether currently or in the past. And you need to utilize those things. So now I kind of see this in a whole new light. It made a lot of sense to me when when I walked through it in my mind, and I actually kind of walked through it like speaking it out, and I was like coming to this realization as I was speaking it, like, yeah, like my struggle is not the physical part. My struggle is 100% the mental part of it. And she's trying to instill in me this idea that everything will be okay. No matter what happens, everything will be okay. She asked me, before your injury, were you ever scared? Were you ever nervous? Did you ever think you were going to get hurt? Did you ever think going to the gym might be your last time? And I said, no, never. There's never. I was strong. I was confident. I thought I was bulletproof. I did everything that I thought I was supposed to be doing. Didn't even cross my mind. And she asked me, well, what's changed? What is it that you are now afraid of? Because you weren't afraid before. And we need to look past the obviousness of the back injury. Like, what is it that you are truly afraid of? And one of my fears is just getting hurt again and going backwards, getting hurt again and going backwards. And she pointed out to me that every single time that you hurt it, retweaked it, made it worse, you found a way to come out of it. And I need to realize that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. No matter what happens, I will find a way to crawl out of that hole, because I've always done it and I continue to do it. And that's a big thing that's helping me figure out what's holding me back and hanging me up. And I just wanted to get it out in the universe, like just speak it. And again, not for the purpose of being seen by thousands of eyes, just for whatever reason, putting something out there for everybody to see is kind of therapeutic. And this might help one person. And if it helps one person, cool. And if not, it helped me, because this is just kind of like therapy for me, just talking about it, getting it out. So that's my kind of log entry for today, and I'm sure I'll be back with more.